What's the most depressing place you have traveled to? Outer suburbs of Paris. It's really, really grim and depressing. Ueno Zoo in Tokyo. There was a lone polar bear pacing back and forth in some small dull pen. It looked so helpless. Killing fields in Cambodia. Standing next to a tree where they found skull and brain fragments from babies who were killed by being swung into said tree. This happened in the 1970s. Rwanda happened in 1990s. There have been many other genocides since. What the fuck are we doing? So that, or Dachau, the concentration camp outside of Munich. I do recommend both to anyone. It's important people visit these places and learn. I'm registered nurse who volunteered in health services with the American Red Cross. It's really daunting and depressing working at disaster site, especially when you arrive right after the incident. Pripyat, Ukraine, near Chernobyl, was one of the most depressing places I've ever visited. The abandoned apartment buildings, schools with children's toys left behind, and an eerie silence made it feel like time had stopped after the nuclear disaster. It was haunting to see how life had been completely erased from an entire city. House of Terror, former SS and Gestapo headquarters in Budapest. The cells in the basement had shackles on the walls and drains in the floor. If you went in the room, you did not come out alive. I'm not superstitious, but the place had a very weird feel to it, especially in the basement. Thousands of people were tortured and put to death. The zoo in Haimji, Japan. If you go, I hope it's because you are planning to commit some liberation heist of the poor animal souls trapped in that hellhole. Westbury. It's a town in southern England, Wiltshire I think, and I don't have anything against it. It just happened to be the train station I was always at 10 p.m. traveling home. I went between Southampton and Exeter a lot at the time, and it always made me depressed. Maybe it was the closed cafe that looked like it would be nice when it's open. Maybe it was the hanging baskets of flowers under moonlight and artificial light. Maybe I was just homesick. But the place always made me sad. Salton Sea. Take whatever backwater, dejected town that makes you think man this place is dying, and then kill it and travel 40 years into its future. That's Salton Sea. A brothel in Germany. I was living out there with a German chick, we broke up. Naturally, I was playing sad songs on repeat. Naturally, Air Supplies Without You featured heavily. A friend of mine suggested that when in Rome do as the Romans. So I went to a brothel, walked in, looked like a dentist's waiting room, but with more bored prostitutes. Thought nah I'm not that fucking depressed and walked back out. Went through Kensington and Philly not long ago, don't know if you can get more depressing than that. My dead cousin's bedroom. He died a while ago, and his room is exactly how he left it back in 2022. It's jarring to go in there and see reminders on his calendar for March 2022. A trip to Auschwitz. Even finding it not far away, you can feel its aura of pain. I went to Atlantic City for the weekend during the winter with some friends one time. Dark, gray, drab, reeked of cigarettes and desperation. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, I started feeling under the weather. So I took a Greyhound bus home that Saturday night. Let me tell you, the people who leave AC on a Saturday are not a happy bunch. I once stopped in Needles, California. Afterwards my friend told me they only named it Needles because no one knows how to spell syringe there. S21 school turned prison and the killing fields in Cambodia. Beautiful country with a dark and relatively recent past epitomizing the unconscionable effects of evil. Possibly more depressing still were the predatory Western men courting amputee children injured by landmines. When I went to America, Hollywood during the day, fuck me, so dirty, homeless people everywhere. Absolutely rammed with tourists, but so depressing as it looks like utter shit, like literal filth. If it's like that during the day, I don't even want to imagine what it's like at night. Work. Blackpool.